This is Digital Storytelling by Shannon Hornsby. First of all, what is digital storytelling? According to the University of Houston, it is the practice of using computer-based tools to tell stories. They combine the art of storytelling with a mixture of images, text, recorded audio narration, video clips, and music. Just like normal stories, they focus on a topic and have a certain point of view. The topics that can be used in digital stories are endless, ranging from personal tales to the retelling of historical events. Here's an example.
And that first story, which is called Tanya, was by a maker named Monty Hollis. And I'd like to share that story for you to get an idea of what the very first digital story looked like. So this is Tanya from 1993 workshop at the American Film Institute.
I never had a lot of friends. Not really. The truth is I didn't even know what one was. Growing up, I was shy and confused friendship with popularity. Last year I met Tanya, and we became the kind of friends that most friends are. Acquaintances. She knew she had AIDS and would die soon. But facing death gave her more strength to live. She had no place to leave her girls and wanted to find them a good home. Tanya also wanted to start an organization to help parents like herself die in peace, knowing their children were loved and cared for. She also needed a real friend. Tanya got a lot of attention the minute she told her story, as if the world had been waiting for her. I stood by and watched in amazement. A few months later, she couldn't do much on her own, and for all her efforts, she felt she'd only accomplished one thing. She found a real friend, and it was me. And I couldn't let her dreams die with her. The other night, Tanya told me to lay my head down next to hers. She wanted to tell me a secret. Auntie Faye, don't forget, all we got is where we're going. I couldn't believe she knew my middle name. Oh, I hate to see her go. Well, let's
So moving on from our example, we'll go to the 7 elements of digital storytelling. 1. Point of view. What is the perspective of the author? 2. A dramatic question. A question that will be answered by the end of the story. 3. Emotional content. Serious topics that speak to us in a personal and powerful way. 4. The gift of your voice. A way to personalize the story to help the audience understand the content. 5. The power of the soundtrack. Music or other sounds to support the storyline. 6. Economy. Simply put, using just enough content to tell the story without overloading the viewer with too much information. And lastly, 7. Pacing. How slowly or quickly does the story progress? So next is a little bit about the history of digital storytelling. While it may seem like a new development due to its emphasis on computer technology, the Center for Digital Storytelling has been assisting in the creation and sharing of digital stories since the early 1990s. Today, digital storytelling is being used in community centers, schools, libraries, businesses, and much more. In education, both teachers and students can partake in digital storytelling in many different ways. It can be used for nearly any content area and a wide range of grade levels. So, digital storytelling for teachers, just like any other presentation method, teacher-created digital stories can be used for many different purposes in the K-12 classroom. Some of these include facilitating discussions, enhancing lessons within a larger unit, and making abstract content more understandable. Digital storytelling is becoming more popular in the classroom because research has shown that the use of multimedia in teaching is very beneficial for students. And digital storytelling for students. By having students create their own digital stories, interest and motivation are generated due to the use of technology. For example, one could have their students view a digital story and then give an assignment to create their own. The assignment could be simple, like telling a story about themselves, or more complicated, like researching a topic and reporting the information in a digital story. In the process, students would learn internet and researching skills as well as using their creative minds. Making a digital story can also help students learn to organize ideas, express opinions, ask questions, tell well-rounded stories, and present knowledge in an individual and exciting manner. So in my research, I found a few lesson ideas. The first is Social Studies, grades 6 through 10, and it is named Ancient Cultures News Broadcast. Culture, the way of life that characterizes a group of people, is one of the most important things anthropologists and historians study. Geography is an important factor in how a civilization's culture develops. For this project, student teams will develop an animated news broadcast on the geography of an ancient culture, focusing on the question, how did geography affect the daily life of this culture? Next, I found Language Arts, grades 3 through 6, named Personification Stories. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Personification is a figure of speech in which human qualities are given to objects, animals, or ideas. For example, the fire breathed hot in our faces and its flames grabbed at our clothes. Or, the chocolate cake is calling my name. Personification can make your writing much more interesting. In this project, you will personify an animal or object and develop your story into an online book or animated cartoon. Next is Science, grades 3 through 4, Animal Interviews. Every day, scientists are learning more and more about how animals talk. For example, there is now an elephant voices dictionary that helps humans understand the meaning of elephant calls and gestures. Students will use their powers of research, observation, and questioning to create an interview with an animal, interviewing it to help others learn more about what makes it so amazing, as well as the issues it faces in the wild. And lastly, Math, grades K through 2, the shape of things. The world around you is made of amazing shapes. The clock in your classroom is probably round, but the one by your bed may be a square or a rectangle. In this project, you will think of the shapes in objects around you, draw a picture, and complete a shape sentence to make your own version of the book. So next I'm going to go visit two different websites. The first one is Digital Storytelling, and it is from the University of Houston. The very first thing you see on this first page is right here, the featured digital stories. And this right here goes to prove how vastly different digital stories can be. Here we have a Galveston Hurricanes and Oz, The Meaning of My Life, Behind the Lens, Thundery Fairy Tale, and Run Your World. Those just really show how different digital stories can be and how many different topics they can cover. If you go to this About Digital Storytelling page, the first thing that shows is what is digital storytelling. It goes into the details of everything it includes and even talks about some of the founders. Next is educational uses, which breaks down what about digital storytelling is beneficial for teachers and why it is an effective learning tool for students. The next tab goes to the 7 elements of digital storytelling, which I talked about earlier. There they are. And then the next tab, which I found really interesting, was the 21st century skills, which include digital literacy, global literacy, visual literacy, technology literacy, and information literacy, which are all things that students learn while making a digital story themselves. And then the next website is techforlearning.com. And it's going straight to an article about digital storytelling. This is where I found all of my lesson ideas. Now, this website was a great resource for me in this project, but it would also be a great resource for any teachers that have difficulty with technology in the classroom. There are many different lesson ideas on this page right here, and each one goes into detail about how you could use the project and how you could modify it for your own students. This one right here is called book trailers. I'll go into it just so you can see everything it tells you. So right here, it shows that it is a language arts project for grades 5 through 12. And then it goes down to list the task and the big idea, which is how do I get a young reader hooked on a book. It goes into your engagement with your students and some questions to ask them. It even lists common themes that your students can look for in their books. And it has a example called Out of My Mind book trailer for you to watch and for your students to watch to get an idea of what the project is all about. So next I will go to my bibliography and then my reflection.